So let's analyze another game here. Very good that you're playing 30 minutes again. And you play e4, c6, like a Caro-Kann. And then d4, queen c7. I don't think this is like mainstream theory. Playing queen c7. You don't want to move the queen early in the opening. But more typical is to sort of like grab his fair share of the center, control the center, right? Instead of like playing this very passively on these three ranks, and you have no space here. Oops. Yeah, you have no space here. Okay. Knight f3, g6, knight c3. This is very good. You're developing with every move, and you're developing rapidly. And here I made a note. If the knight comes here, usually in these type of setups, right, you want to like preserve your bishops, right? Having two bishops is usually a good advantage, especially in the endgame. But it's a very small advantage. It's a very small advantage. But if the position is closed, like the center is a closed structure, then this bishop might not be as good. But you want to preserve the bishop. Yeah, bishop c4 is very good here. You're developing. Yeah, this is just a very well conducted opening so far. Very good. Castle, castle. Again, like we spoke of here, this knight here, which was really bad, which was very terrible, can now be exchanged for this bishop, which was somewhat stronger than this knight because it was centralized. So h3 takes. I wouldn't play h3 here, personally. You somewhat weaken the king position. What I would play here might be simply to bring the queen out, like connecting the rooks, and then prepare some kind of attack. So you have this and this. An alternative would be somehow to bring the bishop along this diagonal, but this takes way too many moves. So like queen here would save time. Yeah, h3 is a pawn move. So typically you want to avoid pawn moves if you can make a piece move. I think that's the idea. So h3 forces the issue here. a6 here, this is not a good move by black because he still has to develop. So this move here is not really developing anything. It's just I can see he wants to expand on the queen side, but alternatives would be something like this. Somehow allowing the bishop to move and the knight to move, right? So seems like a waste of time, but there's no contact between the two forces right now. You have space advantage, but there's no contact, okay? So again, he makes another pawn move. Instead of trying to develop his pieces, he's breaking all the principles. So this is not a good idea. And now you play d5. So d5 is not a move that I would play personally. The main thing you have to know is that this structure here restricts this bishop. So you want to keep, since we have this like bishop imbalance here, two bishops versus an item bishop imbalance, having like pawns like here and just to restrict this bishop is a very good idea. But playing here sort of weakens the dark squares even more, opens up the position. But the justification for that would be, well, you know what, he's underdeveloped, so an open center would be beneficial. So I can see the reading there, but a move like this would be quite fine, or even a move like this would be, move like this, like clamping down, because this is what he wants to play. He can't play it right now, of course. Let's just show this. He can't play it right now because of a pin, right? Takes, and you can't take because of this. So plays, and plays e6. Of course, again another pawn move. So you have these pawn moves neglecting his development. Let's go on. So you play d5, c takes d5, and you took here. All right, you missed a capture. One trick that you have to know is that whenever a pawn moves along the diagonal, it opens up this rank. This rank, this file, and this diagonal. So, if you notice this, you would notice that the queen now has a clear sight. So one file, one rank, and one diagonal is opened, and this bishop is now under attack. So just moving it would work here, but you took with the pawn. Pawn takes pawn, right? It's missing this capture, so you just missed the capture. Take. And the queen coming here is not good because you're down a piece, right? You don't want to go into an end game where you're down a piece because you'll almost certainly lose, but maybe not at this level, but in general. Takes with check, so you missed another capture. Knight deploys, attacks, queen here. Maybe this is not a good idea because sort of opposite is rook, right? So knight out and rook e7. Again here, if you look at all the captures again, before playing a move, you would notice that this guy's hanging. Of course, you can't play it right now, right? Because, you know, whoops. You can't play it right now. Well, you can play it right now, excuse me. You can't play it right now, but because it's kind of defended. But yeah, just a capture. You missed a capture. So bishop f6 takes. I don't know. This is not a good move again. You missed another capture. Again, this rook leaves this file and these two diagonals. And it now, excuse me, this rank rather. And it now enters this rank. And these two diagonals. And if you notice, the queen is on this diagonal. So the rook is hanging. So queen takes rook. He goes back here and attacks the queen. And this is a fancy move, I would say. It somewhat works, I guess. Yeah, it kind of somewhat works here. So you just have to takes, and now he missed a check and a mate. So the lesson to take here is just be aware of the changes that happen when the pawn captures here. Oops, the pawn captures, right? A rank is open, a file is open, a diagonal is opened, and it enters a new file, a new rank, excuse me, and a new diagonal. So that's what you have to be aware of. So you just have to anticipate your opponent's checks and captures. So that was like the main downfall here.